Afternoon, everybody. Jeff from Rust Bucket Valley Garage. We were in such a rush last night to take and get a job out that I wanted to make a little video on it and tell you about it because I think it's some real good information that you can use. It seems that we are having a rash of people doing automotive work where they're stripping the drain plugs on the oil pans. So since you have to take and do that, we change our oil here in the shop every 3,500 miles, no matter what kind of oil we use here, synthetic or regular. So it's very important to have access to the drain plug and the filter and all that. So we had a neighbor with a 2007 Volvo station wagon come across the street and contact us last night and said that they were having trouble getting the drain plug out of their oil pan. So we went ahead and got dressed in our work clothes and went across the street and saw what the situation was. They had the car up on jacks and they had been working on attempting to get the drain plug, a steel drain plug, out of an aluminum oil pan for approximately half an hour. Someone prior to them had tried to get it out and that did not work as well. So by the time they got us, that the drain plug was kind of a cone. So there were no facets left on there at all. There really wasn't anything to take and grab onto. We went over there with a couple of pairs of real sharp vice grips that we keep special just for drain plugs that sometimes we have to extract them out. And then it did not work. So in talking over with the owner, we decided to pull off the aluminum oil pan with the drain plug still in it and dump all the oil out of it, and then we brought it across the street over to our machine shop. It was kind of a rush job. He had someplace to be with his vehicle and he wanted it back operational. Kudos for him for doing the maintenance on him, but he needed his car back quickly. First thing we did is we kind of cleaned it up a little bit, and to the right of where the drain plug is on the Volvos, there is an oil cooler that is there, and there are two relieved areas that have some green O-rings in there, so we went ahead and removed those. So if we heated it up, we wouldn't be damaging anything. We checked inside and there wasn't anything to be damaged by heat there. So what we did is we took an oxyacetylene torch and we heated that up, and it was about as warm as you can get it. A steel drain plug in an aluminum housing. We didn't want to take and damage the aluminum, damage the threads in the thing. Although, if we had, we have inserts and we have tapping and drilling equipment where we can rethread those things. Or if worse comes to worse, we can take and weld it up and just make a new one. But we heated it up and put another pair of vice grips on there, and that thing just laughed at us. It wasn't having any part of it. Next thing we did is we took a 4.5 inch grinder. We call it a cutoff tool here. And we cut new facets onto the steel drain plug. The funny thing about the drain plugs is that the wrench portion or the nut portion comes down to a flange, and then the flange has a gasket under it, and then you have the threads, and that's what actually seals against the pan. So what we did when we cut new flats on the side of it, we put the vice grips on again and used an impact tool on it, and the thing laughed at us again. It wasn't having any part of it. It was just stuck in there. It was nice and happy in its home in the oil pan. Next thing we did is we put it up on the milling machine, and we milled the area, the rest of um, the drain plug off, and we milled off the flange that seals against the oil pan. And then what we did is we went ahead and we drilled a hole in it, in the center of it. The reason we did that is because we didn't have anything to take and grab onto. We just drilled a hole. We have special bits that are for hardened alloys, and we always keep a couple of sets of those around in case we have to take and do framework on various cars where we have to take and drill out welds, because the welds are on high strength steel and a regular drill bit won't do it. So we keep those around to take and drill that. As I was saying previously, and this is one of the hazards of being near LAX. Sorry about that. The drain plug itself is, the threads are semi-hardened, the core is semi-hard, but the wrench portion is not. Okay, so we started out with a regular drill bit drilled in the center, and we only got so far before it stopped advancing. Then we took our special drill bits, and then we drilled the rest of the way through it, and we drilled an area diameter enough so we could stick a large screwdriver in there, and we tapped it in, and then we just used the screwdriver to take and back the rest of the drain plug out. We ran a tap in the threads to take and refresh them, and cleaned up the area where we'd done milling, and of course we scrubbed it in a solvent tank, and then we blew all the chips and everything out of it. But we'd put shop towels on the inside to keep the metal particulate matter to a minimum, because we don't want the oil pump picking that up and putting it through the filter or stopping up the filter and everything, because that could lead to engine failure. Okay, so the torque on drain plugs is not 80 foot-pounds. Right? Some people think it is. It is not. It's more like 25 or 22, somewhere around there. If you see these kind, if you decide to take and tackle this job, to keep the metal out of the engine, it's a good idea to take and pull the pan off. The reason is it gives you more access, and it's a better working environment in your workshop than it is laying under a car or under a lift or something. You can get more leverage with your drilling equipment. You can chuck it up in the drill press of the mill, and then you can go to town on it and really get the job done quickly. But it was successfully extracted, and we got another drain plug, took and put it in there. We took the piece out. It still had threads on it. We sent one of the runners over to AutoZone, not a sponsor, and they picked up another one. It was about $6. So it took us, probably about 30 minutes, I guess, to take and extract the drain plug because somebody over-torqued it. Okay, so I hope I've given you a little bit of good information here, and the steps we went through on how to take and get the stuck drain plug out, and that'll also work in metal pans as well. So, I hope you don't have to use the information too much, but if you do, at least you'll have a good reference. Hope you have a great rest of the afternoon. We'll talk to you next time.